All right, good morning. My name is Antonio Arce, actually. So how many actually ride a bike or drive a car? Okay, that was basically everyone. All right, so whether you're riding your bike for many hours or to very short little ride with long hours or just a quick little race runs, your tire can get very beaten up and goes through a lot of damage and just flexibility. And so this is why I would have to explain why having a tubeless setup is such a great idea and use. So it gives the most traction to your tire, and it has opened many doors for the mountain biking community and along with anyone else who drives the car. With most being able to ride a bike, I'm pretty sure, this is why I feel like it connects to everyone and open ideas for you with your bike. With personal reference to myself, I have been riding my bike for the past couple months, and right away when I got it, I did a tubeless setup, which has allowed me to not get a flat and go through a ride perfectly fine and have more enjoyable. With learning about this, I hope it allows everyone to not get flats with their bikes now. Same thing with their cars, because I mean, you hit a pothole, say you have a tube in there, even though most cars come tubeless, if you have a tube in there, it's going to get pinched and then there you have a flat. And so to begin with, I'll give a brief history about the tire and then how it became a tubeless setup, and then the cons and pros about this setup, and then lastly a quick how-to. To begin with, when was the first tire and how it ended up being tubeless? So wheels have always been around, whether it was just a quick little, made out of wood or stone. According to John Thompson in an article called What We Should Know About Tires, the historical background, the first tires were just very thick rubber, very thick cushion. And that was up until the mid-1800s. And not until 1857 was the first tube tire that came out. And no one really acknowledged the tube tires due to the idea that it didn't last as long to a regular thick rubber tire. And not 2 years later did make a comeback, but with the idea, it was a tube inside of a thicker rubber that was a casing to keep it safe from any punctures and just wearing out. So now to the tubeless tire. According to History.com, of B.F. Goodrich company announces development of tubeless tire. It was in 1947 that they put in a patent for this, and although it was only a patent, they still put it in and had people use it all around. So taxi drivers, police cars, and everyone had it. And not until 1952 was it a standard on every car that was coming off the car lot. Now no longer were cars inner tubes rubbing with the inside of a wheel wall and causing it to like pop. Now that you have a better understanding of background, now to some negatives and positives about this. To become convinced, I'll explain the negatives first and then the positives. So to begin with, the cons is that it could create a mess. And so, there's this tubeless sealant, and then once you put it in, it could fall out easily, and then once it becomes old and you get a new tire, it becomes like all sticky and nasty. And then you have to have a quick burst of air for the tire, because since there's no inner tube, it has to catch on the rim. And then lastly, you have to find a conversion kit, which would be this right here, that like the sealant, and then you have to make sure your wheel set is compatible, so they could run like all the way up to like two grand basically for just a pair of wheels, or you buy it cheaper down for 500. Now that you know the cons, the better side is the pros. So you get more traction, which is what I'm talking about the most. And with most traction, you are more confident in when you ride. When you ride, you want to have the most confidence so that you can really dig into every turn and be able to go about a ride without crashing so much. With that, with less air, the tire is less round at the bottom, creating the ability to catch the traction. And for a lot of people, they are weight weenies. I'm personally not one, because once you take out the tube, it saves you probably like 20 grams, which isn't much, but a lot of people count by grams, and it means a lot. And a big pro is that for small punctures, the sealant comes leaking out and bubbles up, and then usually it'll catch up and dry up, and then you won't have to exactly have to deal with it. So now with a better understanding on the background of the positives and negatives, time for a quick explanation on how to. So to begin with, you have to purchase everything. So like the sealant, the rim tape, or you could just use Gorilla Tape, tire levers, and then make sure you have a tire set that tires and wheel set that is compatible with it. And then to begin with, you release the air, then you take off the tire outside of the rim, and then you remove the rim tape. Then it's all next. You remove the rim tape, and then you clean the inside of the rim so that there's all clean, no gunk on it. And then you'll put on the rim tape, and once you do that, you come back and put a little X on the valve stem so you can put the tubeless valve on it. And after you do that, you check on the sealant on how much you're supposed to put in. You put it into the tube, inside the tire, and then you close up the tire, and you place air into it. And for that, it quickly, you have to pump up air until it's at the max pressure, and then you let it set overnight, and then after the next day you could lower the pressure inside of it, being able to have more traction with your tire. So with everything, with a better acknowledgement of the tubeless tire and the tires, let's just finish this speech up, because I'm pretty sure everyone's bored. Alright, so with knowing more about the tire, I hope everyone has a better acknowledgement towards it for either your car or bike, so you can run lower tire pressures. To begin with, I had a quick explanation, and then I went to the positives and negatives, and then I lastly did a quick how-to. So next time when you get a pinch flat on your bike, or you're just not getting enough traction in your car or tire when you're out in the mountains, I hope you think back to my speech and wonder why you didn't follow what I said. Thank you.